Yeah, so my name's Daniel Napoli. I'm currently the General Manager of VFL and VFLW football across the Hawks. I started at Hawthorn 10 years ago. I've spent 5 seasons in their footy ops program. Got the opportunity to come to Box Hill. Spent 2 years as their GM, which is more so an off-field role. And I've been lucky enough to spend the last couple of years back into a football-based role, overseeing their men's and women's programs, which I love. So it all starts with our board and our management, really, in regards to the vision that we set and the strategic plan that we set for our staff and our players. And I love working with our board on that. We're currently in a 3-year plan. We're really clear about what's important to us. We want to be the premier pathway club in Australia. It's as simple as that, and that includes being really competitive, finishing top 4 every year, and giving ourselves a chance to put a trophy in the cabinet for Box Hill. And ultimately, we want to be about people. So developing people on and off the field, whether it's players, having more players drafted than any other team, whether it's people in our staff, having them elevated into the elite system, into the AFL system as quickly as possible. That's what we want to be. That's what we want to be known for. List management is a really important part of my role. Being an aligned club with Hawthorn, it's unique in terms of how we put it together. It's a bit of a puzzle at times. Even this year, as an example, we were patient in the lead up to the draft with some of our own players just to see what come in the door. And funny enough, Hawthorn drafted 3 mids, a couple of mid forwards, which really influences the way we go about finalising some spots at Box Hill. Our brief is really clear and simple. We want to be super competitive, and that means putting together a strong list in terms of our top end that ensures that we win games of footy and we play finals footy every year. But we also want to present as many young, up-and-coming, talented players as possible to Hawthorn from a recruiting perspective. So if you're draftable and you're good at footy, you're gold for us. We would have 50% turnover in regards to our list year on year. So you pretty much build the list every year from scratch, which is really fun and a lot of work. It all starts with retention. We want to have a core group of senior players that drive our standards, drive our club forward, and really set the tone for our younger players. Retention is everything. We're in a really fortunate position coming into this off-season where we had such a strong group in 2021, and for the most part, all the guys wanted to come back. So we were able to retain quite a number of guys, starting from the back end: Hugh Beasley, Damien Mercedes, Stu Horner, Cal Porter, Ed Phillips, Geordie Cunico, Fergus Green, Vincent Aducci, Mason DeWitt. This is a really strong nucleus for us, and we were able to put that together really quickly. And then we were just able to be patient, to be honest, and that was uncomfortable at times in regards to some of the conversations that we had to have with a few of the returning players in regards to where they sat, that were all really keen to return. But we know we needed to be patient, wait towards the draft, and then just fill the gaps basically with what we needed from a depth perspective. So we brought in a couple of players just to complement what we've already got. James Parsons, we had our eye on James 12 months ago. Chose to go to Carlton. We kept in touch. The opportunity came up this time around, and it was a good fit for both parties. So we'd expect him to play a lot of inside mid footy for us at Box Hill and really fill that void that was left by Josh DeLuca and Braden Kilpatrick, as well as Trent Minot. Ben Cavara's another one, top liner in regards to VFL footy, arguably should still be on an AFL list. We think he's such a perfect fit for Box Hill. He's got established relationships in terms of Andy Collins, Clint Proctor, Fergus Green, Cal Porter, his older brother John. So we're just ready and waiting for Ben, and finally we get to entertain the combo with him, and it all goes well over a number of weeks, and yeah, we're really lucky to have him. Jalen Thorpe is another player who we've brought in to our club. Jalen provides ultimate versatility. He can play either end of the ground, he can play in the ruck. When Hawthorn parted ways with the likes of Keegan Brooksby, Michael Hartley, Tim O'Brien, the need for a versatile big guy became really apparent for our VFL list, and Jalen fits that. He can play either end of the ground and in the ruck, and yeah, we're looking forward to slotting him in. So we got this really strong group at the top end, and we expect these guys to be playing really good footy week to week. Equally, it's really important for us to fill a number of spots on our list with as many young, developing, draftable players as possible. And ideally, we want some of these guys to be putting pressure on these older blokes and forcing them out of the side. And that's when we'll be really healthy. And John Newcomb did that last year. He came into our side as a developing type. And I remember a unique conversation with Sam across pre-season when he flagged that we may have a problem with our midfield depth. I said, well, what's that? He said, I'm going to pick Jai. Jai's flying. So yeah, there's a problem. We manage our list accordingly, and we didn't have Jai at that stage as a regular, but yeah, he quickly pushed his way past into that midfield. And sometimes that takes a little bit of time. Dave Mirror is testament to that. He put 8 years in at Box Hill and finally got a deserving opportunity at the AFL level. Lockie Bramble, Sam Switkowski in the past, Ned Reeves, Sam Fletcher, the list goes on. I think we're up to 30 plus now since the alignment started with Hawthorn 20 years ago, which is more than any other VFL club, which we're really proud of. Not everyone's fortunate to be drafted. There's guys like Stu Horner and Braden Kilpatrick that have forged really strong VFL careers with Box Hill, and those two guys spent 20 odd games in their first couple of seasons in the development league. They earned their spot in that senior side after a couple of seasons and played some significant games for Box Hill. Braden's a premiership player. Stu Horner enters his 6th season for Box Hill this coming year and has become a really valuable member of our leadership group and our senior side. Guys like Vincent Aducci, started off at Box Hill 4 or 5 years ago. Again, have really had to dig in and develop into senior players in our VFL side, and that's just the way it works. We're hoping we've got a couple of guys on our list this year that will build and play some really strong VFL footy in 2022. Guys like James Blank enters his 3rd pre-season with us now, and like anyone's had an interrupted first couple of years given what's going on, but yeah, we're really hoping he comes on and plays some strong footy in 2022 for sure. Jed Rule from the Oakley program, Flynn Lakey out of the Calder Cannons program, Jakey Arundel out of the Eastern Rangers program, Louis D'Angelo out of the Gippsland program. We've cast the net pretty wide this year. There's been a couple of interrupted seasons of footy, so we think there's a lot to find out about some of these young kids that haven't had a fair crack in the NAB League over the last couple of seasons. We're really excited about finalising these last few spots with these young guys over the next few weeks. In regards to our coaching group, we want to mirror an AFL coaching panel as much as we can at VFL level in our program. That starts with the senior coach. So Clint Proctor, although we had him go through a pretty thorough process, he was the right man for the job, and we're looking forward to working with Proc in 2022. Really important support for Proc is Otto. So Andy Otten started at our program, I think in 2020, as a playing assistant coach as part of a role with Hawthorn and Box Hill. The year that never was, he stuck around in the Hawthorn program as a development coach in 2021 and played a role with Box Hill, and this year has been elevated into the senior assistant coaching role at Box Hill. He's a really important conduit for us in the alignment. He'll be really important for Clint around match committee, around what's going on, around Hawthorn and the game plan and all the different things that are important to stay as synergised as possible with the VFL program. He'll be really well supported by Clinton Young, Cam Howard, who's new to our program, has come from the Footscray VFL program, Damien Mercedes, who's being elevated into a playing assistant coaching role with us in 2022. Damo is a really fascinating story. He's had that coaching bug for a couple of years now. We started this conversation with him a couple of years ago in regards to dipping his toe in the coaching space. He did that 2019, 2020, 2021, and now the stars aligned and we've put him in a playing assistant role at Box Hill. We're really looking forward to him transitioning into that role. Damo will be supported by Dave McKay. So Dave's obviously played 248 games at the Adelaide Crows and has had such a strong AFL career as a player. He'll cover our backs with Damo, particularly when Damo's playing, in terms of overseeing the backs from the coach's box. We've also got a really strong academy program or development program led by David Banfield. It's a really important part of our club and our cultural fit at Box Hill. It doesn't necessarily focus on the player that's playing every week. It focuses on the young guy who's forging his path at Box Hill on and off the field. In fact, most of the program is built around developing the person before the footballer. So that's really strong, and Dave Banfield is really well supported by Jason Philactides and Cade Pargata, who align ourselves to Eastern Rangers and Gippsland Power. So last year, obviously, we had Sam Mitchell and Andy Collins, with Colo playing the senior assistant role for Sam, and it really worked so well just in regards to the mentorship and the support that Colo was able to provide Sam in our program. This year with Proc in the senior coaching role, as well as the fact that we want to be a club that really supports and mentors all our coaches, we look to identify a person that could really play that role, I guess, as that senior figure and mentor across our program. So the role is, director of coaching, and I guess we had a bit of a think about who that person could be, and we landed on Peter Schwab as just a perfect fit. Former AFL coach, former Hawthorn coach, has done a similar role at AFL level up at Brisbane in terms of director of coaching. So to have Schwabby come to our program as a director of coaching is such a great fit, and he'll be such a strong asset for all our coaches, including Proc. Obviously it's been a couple of interrupted seasons. We felt like we were really getting into gear midway through last year before it was cut short. A lot of work's been done over the last few months in regards to building the list, putting the staff together, setting ourselves up for a really strong campaign. I couldn't be more excited about 2022 in regards to the people that we've put in place, on and off the field. Can't wait to get back out there.